We all listen to music for different reasons and different kinds of things. Have you ever asked yourself why you are so drawn to that song, artist, or album? Many years ago, I didn't really think that deeply about music the way I do now. For me, in my skateboard days and playing drums in a rock band, I just enjoyed the music. I didn't really get into the stories or details or anything to do with elements, or so I thought. You see, I say that now, but when I really think back to all those wonderful years, there were a lot of emotional connections to music that I was making, and they were because of the story. I was drawn to all kinds of music, like most of us are today, but I didn't always know why or really understand. Sometimes I connected to the story of the song and the lyrics, or the MTV video. Yes, that used to be cool. MTV used to play videos 24/7, and it was awesome. When I look back now, with my formal training in music and my gig experience with live music, it all starts to make sense. So, I used to listen to songs like REM. There's a song called Losing My Religion. Now, at the time, I didn't really know why, but as I sat and thought about why did I listen to that song? Why was I drawn to REM, or why that specific song? So when I think back, I start to remember that I was a little sad. I was sad for a few days, and this song actually helped get that happiness back. And I know that might sound odd or weird, but it's the truth. Sometimes when we're down, struggling, or have obstacles, we may be drawn to a song that we might think is sad, but a lot of times the goal is to get us back to happiness. Another thing, years ago, I lost a best friend. I turned on the radio. I heard a Coldplay song. The song by Coldplay is called Fix You. Now, this is hard for me to talk about without tearing up, but I can tell you, whether it was on the radio or maybe I had the CD, CDs used to be the way we listened to music in the old days. And you can still buy CDs today, and occasionally I will buy a CD for maybe my favorite band, artist, whether it be percussion, orchestra, or Eminem or whoever. At any rate, I was really torn up about losing, a friend. Whenever you lose somebody, family, friend, goodness, you could lose your puppy. There's no rules on loss. The thing about loss is it's hard for everybody. And so as humans, our big things, we want to connect with people. Like, connection is the most important thing. As much as many of us are fans of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, et cetera, I want to encourage and challenge everyone to push that stuff to the side. And if you have an opportunity to have a real face-to-face conversation, please connect. So important for humanity to continue to thrive, is connection. So loss, whether it's me or anybody else, loss it's hard to deal with. It's a struggle. The song helped me get through it. But every time I listen to the song, I am reminded of that friend. And while it's maybe a little bit sad from time to time, it starts to turn into those happy moments where you get those happy videos and or pictures. It's that remembering that leads it to the happiness. Music is such a beautiful thing, isn't it? So now, music is not just for when we're down, struggling, or sad from loss. Music can also be uplifting, inspiring, just happy, good vibes. How about those happy moments? I have tons of happy moments. My happy moments, they go on and on and on. I don't want to say that it's necessarily my favorite, but hopefully as I do this, it will catch your attention and you will start to think about your happy moments. Remember, music is not just major and minor. Music is not just happy and sad. There is no right or wrong way to listen to music, to play music, to enjoy music. There is no really good or bad music. We live in a world of opinions and drama and gossip and so many other things. So I say that to hopefully be inspiring, that like your music is your music for whatever the reason is you enjoy or listen to that music, whether it be music for the gym or music for road trips or music in between classes or, music while you're doing the dishes, or you're actually at a concert. Like, us teachers, professors, mentors, we can go all day on these kind of things, right? It'll be one of the common things you'll hear me say. But the point being is that the music is to you what it is to you. We've heard artists like Bob Dylan and so many others where someone will, years and years ago, you can go to YouTube and you can listen to an interview with Bob Dylan, and someone will ask the question, Bob Dylan or Mr. Dylan, can you tell us why you wrote that song? Or can you tell us what this song is about? And you'll find clips where he's kind of snappy about some of that. And he's like, what does the song mean to you? What do you think it means? Not verbatim, but, sometimes artists can get touchy about everybody wanting to dissect everything. And so I find myself in between both worlds of being a modern professional percussionist, having classical formal training, but also having the road gig band training experience as well, where like I'm playing drums in a band. I play in a symphony orchestra now. So I've always found it interesting how different the hangouts are, whether it's a symphony orchestra or I'm playing in a rock band. All the fun is awesome and still just equally as amazing and the same. But there are like very cool things that I've been able to bring to both of those arenas. So in terms of, emotional connection to music, it's not just black and white or gray, and it's not just major, minor, happy, sad. Music can hit home on a wide range of sentiments, colors, and really music, as you'll hear me say at the end of the lecture today, it's really the eye of the beholder, and that's you. So the happy moment. The year is 2003. I'm at the Percussive Arts Society International Convention in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, I was still in college getting my undergraduate degree in music performance at the University of Texas at Arlington, and I had been competing in the PASIC. We call that PASIC the acronym for the Percussive Arts Society International Convention, which I struggle to say with braces. All right. But at the PASIC College Snare Drum Competition, I've been doing that for 3 years. This was it. It's my last one. I'd done it 3 years in a row, and 2003 was my last year as a student getting my degree in music performance at UT Arlington. It was my last and my final third year in the comp. So, when you participate for multiple years in something like Drum and Bugle Corps, Indoor Drumline, summer camps, basketball, fishing, chess, math, coding, swimming, etc., the list goes on these kind of things. But here's the point. You make a lot of wonderful friends, and many of them are for life. You get so close at these kinds of things because you are living for days, weeks, or months, and you will attend these big, shorter events for multiple years, like these conventions. While it's just 2, 3, 4 days, you're going on years in for, the span of a career, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So you make a lot of friends. And while the spans and the gatherings are different, there's a lot of friends to be made, and it's a lot of fun to be had for sure. So the percussion convention is just a few days, but the bonds you make also in competitive music and, of course, competitive sports. Oh yeah, those connections. It's like it goes beyond your lifetime. It lasts a lifetime and beyond. Those connections it's wicked, just wicked awesome. And hopefully you'll experience that, or you already have. So what happens next at the PASIC drum competition? This is where I think it's pretty awesome, or it's really about to get interesting, is that we're all drumming in the warm-up room in Louisville, Kentucky. We're laughing, just having a good time, hanging out, chilling, vibing, as you might say, or some say. We were playing things together like universal warm-ups or other popular things of the time. And then one by one, we started to take a break. And before many of us know it, we are in the bathroom or restroom, whatever you want to call it, and washing our hands. It's like checking our hair, washing our hands. Oh, how do I look? And we all have some kind of listening device. If you were to go to Google and look up what was the listening devices for the year 2003, well, that's a fun one. So I won't spoil all of the thunder. At any rate, we put our cool music stuff down for a moment, and then this part I don't remember, but what I remember is the song. Someone starts singing, and then at a particular point in the bathroom, restroom, we all start singing the song Lose Yourself by Eminem. Now, I think Eminem put out the Lose Yourself song. I want to say maybe that was, 2002, and of course written for his bio movie. But wow, what an amazing event. We're like we're competitive. Everybody wants to do well, but we'd been doing that for so many years. Everyone just got to be so close and knew each other. We're, in 1 minute, we're just jamming, playing some drums, warming up, chatting, and then we're taking turns playing our solos for each other. A lot of times we think fierce competition is like mean and not friendly and everyone wants to get first place, but that's when you're in it, that's not actually how it is. It can look like that for some people, or it can feel like that in some organizations. But I would say if it's like that in that organization, give another organization a shot. If it's self-imposed by yourself, competition, a lot of times we talk about how, like, does greatness fuel competition? Does competition fuel greatness? Is there more I could say on that? Sure. But the big thing about competitive things is that, a better person. It pushes you to be a better sportsman, a better musician, on all fronts. As fierce as and competitive as things may get in sports, music, and more, it's not as cutthroat or fierce as it might look like for those looking at it from the outside in. When you're in, like, oh, this is actually a really cool, awesome vibe. And if it's not, that's what I was saying earlier, you explore all the vibe options and groups and whatnot for whatever you're doing, but we're all singing Eminem. That's the point. We're singing that song. Super happy. I'll never forget that moment. I'm not going to sing it for you today, nor I'll ever do that. But I had a great 3-year run. I will never forget the happiness of that singing moment. And our draw specifically was the lyrics in that moment. We were drawn to the lyrics. We were really pumped. Here's another one for you. I'm driving in my car with my wife. We were listening to the radio, and a Snoop Doggy Dogg song comes on. And I'm like, yeah, all right. My son, who was not born yet, seemed to really like the song and let us know it's some kicking. Maybe this sounds far-fetched, or maybe the music was just too loud. At any rate, it's such a cool and great memory. So, I could keep going. As I said earlier, I could go all day with all these happy song moments. I actually have, quite a lot of them. I will say that, with YouTube today and so many other outlets like social media, websites, blogs, e-commerce, we really do have a good bit of the world at our fingertips. And, how we consume our daily dose of music, or what some might say our daily dose of medicine, like music can be your daily dose of medicine, as Evelyn Glennie says in her TED Talk, How to Truly Listen. There's something to it there. How we consume, it's of course changed over time and will probably continue to do so. We'll all be watching that one. Watchful eye, of course. Maybe some of the reasons we are so drawn to music is that there is some kind of connection we have to the song. And that connection might just be the melody or rhythm. It could be the lyrics, word for word, and how some of us feel that the song is talking to us, or that the song is about us, or that the song is about you. It's about you. Sometimes we're drawn to music for just move, groove, and dance. And that's cool too. Music is in the eye of the beholder, and that's for all of us. All right. Let's take a look at yesterday, the Beatles, Paul McCartney. Moving forward with the stories behind the music. All right, so Paul lost his mom when he was young. When you listen to the song, many people think it's about losing a loved one. Mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife. That is surely possible. Now, when you listen to the song for the very first time and you do not search up anything, you don't Google anything, what comes to your mind? Now, for yesterday, some people believe that this song has a connection to Paul's ex, Jane Asher, whom he met before he wrote the song. However, the breakup does not coincide with the song release. But here's the plot twist. He did write the song while living with his then girlfriend, you guessed it, Jane Asher. Although it's many years after his mom passes, it is possible that this is, Paul McCartney releasing his pain. Maybe some people have talked about that. In an interview with Paul McCartney, he talks about how he woke up from a dream, wrote down the melody early in the morning. Now, the original lyrics were about scrambled eggs. Now, you can read some accounts where when they were trying to figure out the name of the song to go from scrambled eggs to Yesterday, that, oh, well, it was, John Lennon's idea. Or you hear him talking about how they worked on the song for this many months or a year or whatever. There's certainly, some different and varied accounts on a lot of this, but the common threads are simply this. He did meet Jane, like Jane and him met before he wrote the song, and he was living with Jane when he wrote the song. I want to say maybe in the attic of the live with Jane's family. And he did actually have a dream, but when you hear Paul McCartney talk about this on YouTube, there's one video. It's very short and sweet, and there's some interviews. I haven't found one, and you might. There's not something where he just pours out his heart and soul. Maybe on some of these podcasts, which are on my to-do list. I haven't listened to them all, but I did, even as I was prepping for today, I was double checking. Okay, I have some pretty awesome students. I know they're gonna check me on this. So I did listen to Paul talk about it, a few hours ago. I heard him talking about it. And in the different videos or podcast I was able to just double check as I'm getting ready for today, he didn't go on and on. He's pretty much boom, boom, boom. So what Paul does say is, yes, I woke up from a dream and I did write down the melody. And I wrote about scrambled eggs. On YouTube, he didn't say that he was hungry. Maybe he was. In the YouTube video that I was watching, he didn't talk about hunger or how he wanted sausage or bacon or eggs over it. It was really short and sweet and simple. And even the other video I found is pretty much the same thing. So maybe in these podcasts, he elaborates more. But at any rate, the original lyrics were about scrambled eggs on the song Yesterday. And with all these different stories about the song floating around, even when you look at all the things that, Paul McCartney or John Lennon or anyone but the Beatles, there do seem to be some inconsistencies and, of course, variations. And this is normal over time. You got to remember that a lot of these things, when we talk about history and things that happened, when you put years, time, and space in between, things can be embellished. They can be exaggerated. Honestly, they could just be forgotten. And you're like, hey, man, what, how did that go down? And you're asking your friend how it went down, but you're the one that was leading all the action. So while the human brain is miraculous, we can still forget, things here and there. And then as the years go by and maybe, let's say it's been 30 years and you're asking an artist hey, why'd you write the song, or what was this about, or what's the real deal? You never told us the real deal. Are you willing to maybe share that stuff now? And then, maybe they do, but maybe they're doing their best to try to. And then a couple of days later, they go on another podcast show, whatever, and remembering that this, that's been 30 or so years, and they're asked the same question, but then they give the answers a little bit different. But the heart of it, you will get, is the same. So the heart of Yesterday by Beatles, Paul McCartney, it's the same. The common threads are, yeah, he's living with Jane. Yes, the original lyrics are about scrambled eggs. No, it has nothing to do with him breaking up with Jane Asher. These are some common threads there. So what you could listen to get this information and or more is the Paul McCartney podcast. You can find this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Check it out. You could also check out the Music History Project podcast. You can find this on the NAMM website, National Association of Music Merchants. It's www.namm.org. Also, check out the book, The Beatles from A to Z, An Alphabetical Mystery Tour. It's a great read by Peter Asher. So the next song, we want to talk about the story. It's called Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Under the Bridge, it was originally a poem, and now many would consider a masterpiece. And Anthony shares his struggles openly, and he touches a lot of people. Now, the meaning and the story behind the lyrics for many artists have a visceral connection, a deep connection. It's very meaningful. Got some pretty killer guitar playing in the beginning of the song. And if we do a breakdown of the form, really simply and quickly, I'd say you've got an intro with the guitar solo, and then it goes to verse 1. Then we get a transition. Then we get verse 2. Then we get a transition and a chorus. Then we get a transition in verse 3, transition, chorus. Then I'd say transition, bridge, secondary chorus. Then we get a little bit of a vocal noodle, lead line thing happening. You get an instrumental outro, and you got some guitar and bass just, throwing down, closing out the piece. So that's the basics of the form there. Now, I would say, although Under the Bridge this is a song about isolation, loneliness, isolation, addiction, recovery. Maybe you're sad, you're lonely, you're isolated, you're struggling with some addiction things. You're also trying to recover, and this song it's gentle, it's calming, it's one of those songs that for many kind of pierces the soul, and it's a popular song. It may be the band's, it may be the Red Hot Chili Peppers, one of their biggest and one of their biggest hits. So I will say that substance abuse, it's had a huge impact on a lot of bands, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers are no exception. So at one point, the story goes like this: that Rick Rubin had got a hold of this, or he's looking through some stuff. Rubin sees it. This story gets it's told over and over again. So it's like, well, Anthony didn't just go, "Hey, here's my poem about struggling or whatever." Maybe they were hanging out, or Rick went to visit him, or Anthony maybe had papers. However this went down with all the variations of the story, Rick Rubin did actually get to see the poem that Anthony wrote, Under the Bridge. And Rick thought it was brilliant. And Anthony was reluctant. He was like, I don't know, it's just too soft, too chill, too gentle, too calming. This is not the kind of energy, funkiness. This is not like our vibe. I don't think my bandmates, my friends, I don't think they're gonna like it, Rick. And then what happens next is intriguing, because Rick Rubin convinces them, you got to do it. I really think this is going to resonate with the band. And so he's like, all right, cool. So he does it, and Anthony sings the lyrics to John and Chad, and they, it was like, as they, what do we say? The rest is history, pretty much. It's like everybody was like, the bandmates were pretty much, blown away. It was pretty much the complete opposite of anything that band has ever done, period. It's almost like, is this even the Red Hot Chili Peppers? But now, when many of us think of struggles, obstacles, or even if you're thinking about, if I just push those words to the side and say, hey, when you think of the Chili Peppers, what are those songs? Well, they've got a lot of songs that people just adore. So everyone's gonna, maybe have their own song. But the band really took to this one. So, the whole song is, it's about, Anthony had this connection, and when he needed to get his stuff, he would go down to an actual bridge. So there was a bridge somewhere downtown, in the middle of Los Angeles, as Anthony says, in the ghetto. And this freeway bridge, there's a little passage or small something that you could go through, and it's only certain members of people could get through and allowed to go there, and they you had basically certain members of a gang and ex-convicts, and it was very guarded in terms of gang and control of this secret hush area, whatever. And they actually let in Anthony because there was a guy there, this guy Mario. He was Mexican mafia ex-convict, and they would just hang out and just chill and walk the streets of downtown LA and looking for their next thing. And so he had a connection into this, into the I guess the dark side, as you might say. And so he got in, and Anthony talks about, and you can find this in a couple areas, articles, books maybe, but he says that the reason they let me in, because this guy Mario said I was going out with his sister, which this was a lie, so we could, just go in there because of course Mario was allowed in, but it's like, hey, who's this? Who's this guy? So Anthony talks about how this is a very low point. It was a low. He was pretty down. It was low, and he was just trying to, he's trying to get through life and figuring out figuring out how to do it. So the song is about Anthony's struggles, and the good news is he gets clean. And Anthony did have his ups and downs with all that, but he kicks it, and he gets clean. He finds the light, finds the happiness. He gets back, to full, amazing, awesomeness. The Red Hot Chili Peppers have thrived. Now, I'm not talking about all of the Red Hot Chili Peppers' struggles with the different members. I mentioned, a little bit of the preamble, and then Anthony. But the whole point is, with this song, like it's about Anthony's struggles, And while there are other struggles in the group, the focus right now is, okay, what's the song about? Like, is this bridge a real place? Yes. How did he get in there? Well, I told you that, right? Did he kick it? Did he master it? Did he get clean? Is everything all good? Yes. Yes. And yes. So when you listen to the song, it's not necessary when you listen to music to know the story of the song you're listening to. It's possible that some music that we listen to, maybe it doesn't have a story. It's like, well, but there's lyrics. If there's lyrics, isn't there some kind of like deep connection story? No, that's not always the case. There are songs all throughout time that it's a song, and yes, it has, lyrics. Maybe it doesn't have lyrics. It can be instrumental. It can be a song that's, instruments and, has lyrics, text. It can be absolute music that's just straight up music. It could be programmatic music where there's a story. But it can sometimes be just nonsensical music. And when I mean by nonsensical music, it's not that I don't like it. I'm readily admit that I listen to nonsensical music as much as probably anybody else, because there's just some music where you're like, well, those lyrics make no sense. So then I'm like, well, why do I even listen to this song? Oh, because I'm riding my skateboard, or I'm mountain climbing, or, at the gym. Like, it's because, just because the lyrics don't necessarily make sense, it doesn't make it a bad song. And just because someone doesn't like that particular song doesn't make it a bad song. Well, I don't like that song. That doesn't mean it's a bad song. The lyrics are nonsensical. That doesn't mean it's a bad song, because we're all drawn to music for different kinds of reasons, for different kinds of things. And so I want to make sure that hits home. So when you're listening to Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, remember that while the song is about struggles, obstacles, and Anthony's whole life struggle, he does find the light. He does get through it. He does kick it. So yeah, that is the stories behind the music. We'll see you then. I'm Professor Ron. Enjoy the music, and I'll see you in the next one.